So
I'm going to make the motion, and we've talked about it up one side and down the other side, and I'm going to make the motion to defer this indefinitely until we have the information to make the correct decision.
how do I stop that?
Do you have a second?
Well, I would, not indefinitely, but 2 years. Can you amend it to 2 years?
I'll amend it to 2 years.
Okay, second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Opposed.
Motion carries with 3 ayes and 2
That was
noes.
good. This one, right?
So it's going to be a 2-year deferment, at least 2 years before we come back to this. Is that correct?
Yeah, but drill down on that a little bit.
We have to come back before the December expiration of the.
Right, so I'm gonna have to get a little deeper into that. So to defer for 2 years to 2018, okay? We have a temporary urgency ordinance right now,
We can extend it the year.
right? It expires in December of 2017. It can be extended 1 more year to December of 2018, but then that's it. There are no more extensions.
But the deferment means what?
It's kind of what I'm asking. What would be, I mean, a possibility would be to bring a permanent ordinance, not a temporary urgency ordinance. Meaning a permanent ordinance would have to go through the planning commission. They would provide a recommendation to prohibit marijuana uses until a specific date, and that date would be revisited. And then that ordinance doesn't expire like a temporary ordinance expires. Does that make sense?
I'm happy with the temporary and going to December of 2018. I just want to see what's gonna shake out and who's gonna do what and make some decisions then. Then we can go to a permanent.
So it'd have to at least do it, because after December 2018, once that expires, then there's a nothing on
We
the
have to
books.
start that.
So we'd have to in, and I don't want to, maybe June or May of 2018, start getting something permanent. So that in December of 2018, when that expires, then there will be nothing on the books.
But that wasn't what we could do here today? A permanent,
If we,
for a
Yeah.
4-year or 2-year
You could
permanent ban?
You could give direction on a more permanent ban that goes to planning commission for their recommendation, then comes up to you, up to city council, with a date to revisit it in that ordinance.
Why don't we just keep it, we have the urgency in December 2018, right?
Because
So why-
because of December 2018, it's gone.
So why don't we just address it before then?
Well, right now we have permits expiring.
we just voted to go 2 years, and this is May, so
I
that's,
see your point.
You're talking December 18?
No.
It expires in December 18?
18.
The current one we have right now?
Well, 2017.
Current one expires December 2017.
Right.
It can be extended 1 year to December.
this would be to May 2019.
If we did a 1-year,
We just did. We just did.
Yeah, we did a 2-year, that's what
We just did a 2-year.
we did a 2-year deferment on whether or not to move forward with creating an ordinance. We did not do a 2-year ban. I think we're confusing the point here. We have 2 different things we're talking
Well,
about.
the
What did you
order
call
number
it?
2 said deferment, so that's why I said that. If you want to call it a
2-year
ban, it's a
deferment
2-year
ban is what we
ban.
voted on.
But it is a ban.
Now the distinction is whether you want just the temporary ban that expires, or if you want a permanent prohibition that would say you will revisit this in May of 2019.
That is what I motioned, 2
Okay.
years from today.
Yeah,
So in order to do a 2-year prohibition from today, we will need to develop a permanent ordinance, because the temporary one that you have doesn't get you to May 2019.
gotcha. So then why did we do a deferment today then?
Just to go against me. I'm just joking, I'm not taking the question.
I know you're not.
You pulled the joke. We're-
So is there no willingness of this body to look at this again and potentially look at anything on 2018 ballot? I mean, I appreciate your
I just-
motion, and I.
I feel like there's so much work to do between now and then.
Well, my thought was to bring something back before us for another decision point. Let's call it February of 2018. To that point, we could start staff down the path if that's where we want to go. It'll give us almost a year to see
That's 7
what
months, that's not a year.
it's almost a year.
May.
Well, we may have an answer.
But we might have a lot more answers than we have right now. And at that point, that's a point where we could then say, okay, you know what, we're definitely not gonna do an 18, we need to go forward with a permanent ban. So that gives us that opportunity in February of 2018. Now, we still have to bring it back for another extension of the prohibition ordinance that we have in place right now.
Right.
So either way, we have to bring this back to the dais, and let's say, you know, I think we need at least 2-3 months before December to do that, so November. So either way, we need to bring this back in November to extend the current,
For 1 year.
the current one that we have right now. And then I would say, I would like to see this brought back again in February next year, just to go over it one more time and see if that's really where we're at.
That's what you're saying, because we'll have more information.
We'll hopefully have more information in both ways. And in February, we could say, you know what, we can see the writing on the wall, this is not happening for Wildomar, let's go down the path of a full ban. Or we start, you know, that's the point where we could say, okay, we could talk about something with a 2018 ballot. And that could be both the tax, you know, asking the voters whether or not they want a dispensary in their city, all those questions could be on that ballot in 2018. But if we just defer this all the way out to, you know, 2 years, then we've missed 2018 completely. One thing I've noticed in this, other cities, you know, I wish we'd sort of seen this coming a little bit clearer, but I think it was San Jacinto voted just to get the tax on the ballot in 2016, last year, just so they would have it in place. You know, we could put the tax on the ballot no matter what we want to do, and maybe not do the ordinance.
That's what I was thinking.
But that way, at least you get it on the ballot, because you can only do that on the 2018 and 2020, and then it's there. And then if we have an ordinance that enacts after that, great. If we don't, whatever, but at least you
But
have that,
Just
you know what the, you know.
Just like your direction, Ben, with Z, there's a lot of studies we need to do to even find that out, and a lot of money we need to spend.
Well,
Okay,
that's that first $40,000, but we could start that in February next year.
Okay,
and have
but
enough time.
here's the fact. The fact is, we just did a 2-year defer. Let me ask you a question. In December, and if the body doesn't vote to extend that thing, what happens to the defer that we just did?
Doesn't matter.
You wouldn't have an ordinance on the books prohibiting any marijuana land uses, so you would need a permanent ordinance
Right.
on the
For
books.
the 2 years.
Before then, right, before December.
Right. Well, you have two choices. Either in December you extend it, or you adopt a permanent ordinance before December. But that's got to go to Planning Commission to get their recommendation, and then it's got to come up to you. You have to have a first read and a second read, and then it's effective 30 days after that, which means we'll probably start the process now to go to Planning Commission at the next available meeting with that ordinance, get their recommendation, have it come up to you, have a first read, a second read, and then effective before December. And then you wouldn't have to extend it, it would just be a permanent ordinance.
Can we do like a counter motion to take away the 2-year deferment and go to February?
It's already been voted on.
Yes, you can vote it over. I mean, it's already been voted on
What
though.
I'm asking, is there a way, like, I think February is actually a decent compromise. So let's say we jump the gun on the vote right now. Is there a way to take that back?
Yeah, we could ask for you
A
guys
recount.
to recount or go back, but I don't know if there's a
If the
person
will of the
that voted
body
for
is
it.
to.
So,
We just did a 2-year vote, a 2-year defer,
Right.
so we could see all the factors that are gonna be in play. I don't care about 18.
Well,
I
then-
honestly don't care about 18 getting on the ballot. I want to see what happens in 18 with the state of California and all the other people that are doing it.
Bridget,
That's the whole fact.
you feel the same way, 2018, you're not even an option for you?
No, I'm okay with February 2018. Let me revisit it then.
Okay, so I do hear that there's a third
Yeah.
vote to bring this back, so I'd ask that we,
So you're going to have to rescind our first vote.
can we rescind the
Defer.
first vote and then take some other motions?
You did a motion to rescind the first one.
Motion to rescind.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No.
Okay, so the first motion,
Motion carries 3 yeses, 2 nos.
okay. I'd like to make a motion that we bring this item back before us before December, whatever timeline we need to extend the current moratorium. And then we also bring this item back to us for a full discussion on whether or not to move forward in February with the implementation or going to the ballot or whatever else we might want to do with Prop 64 in February of next year.
Second.
The discussion,
Discussion?
I think you made a motion.
because,
Oh,
so that it's not exactly the same thing we just did tonight. Because Dustin, you mentioned other ways, then I hope you come back with some other ways, because I don't see other ways.
I hope so too. I just think we owe it.
Or otherwise, we're just doing the same thing again we just did tonight.
So basically what we did is we just got rid of one and now we're going to door one.
No, we're still.
No, it's door one,
We're
it's
still
not
deferring.
door two.
We're def-
It's door one,
Yeah,
because you're talking 18, right?
I appreciate,
That's, I understand why you're doing it, I'm just
We're not saying
saying.
we're gonna,
Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and start it now to get it ready for next February.
no, I'm not asking for any staff time to be spent on this between now and February, other than to continue the current moratorium that we have in place. And that will be the only staff time that we'll need to do, that we were probably gonna do either way, whether we were marching towards a complete ban or not, we'd have to do that before December.
Well, yeah, December we have to have it done.
Right, so before December, we need this to come back so we can have that discussion and continue the current in place moratorium.
I think that's fair. I think that hopefully, for you and Bridget, and everyone, really all of us, will have answers, more answers than we have now. I think it's fair to everybody in the city that voted for or against it. And if we don't have the answers, and there's no way to save a dog or a cow, then we won't do
You
it.
tip the cow.
You tip the cow, man. You might, that's abuse, all right, so.
so to clarify, Tim, I'm not saying.
No, I get it, I get it, I understand.
We will have
I
more,
think that's fair.
Yeah, it'll give more time to see what the state's gonna do and all the messes that
we are
they create.
technically deferring for,
We know it's gonna create a mess, so
I
we
think-
already know that's coming.
It's fair, I think.
How much do you wanna spend on the mess, that's all it's gonna come
We're
down.
really not, I don't see how we're deferring, because it's already in place. It's already there, that in December we'll decide.
Well, we'll do the moratorium
What we
until
wanna do.
February.
We'll do the moratorium for a year,
yeah.
just to put it out there for.
Oh, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
right.
Can we do that?
December.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
the way it's
we're
right
doing-
So we changed it.
Right, so you can come back before December and extend the moratorium for 1 year.
Right, right.
Then we will come
And
back
then
in
come back in
February,
February to have a further discussion where we're at with this.
like tonight, but hopefully there's
Okay.
a lot more
All right.
information.
Right,
That's fair.
that's my
We
point.
just voted that through, so that's fine.
We haven't voted on it.
No, I thought you just did that.
No, you gotta
We
call
have
it
a
a vote.
motion.
Oh, to rescind, okay, gotcha.
So now you have a motion to that effect,
My second.
and a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No.
Motion carries, 4 ayes, 1 no.